Hey, Comics Cubers. Today we are joined by Pink Sasinan, a cartoonist from Thailand, and we are talking about their book, Ouroboros. Now, you will be able to see Ping at the Philippine International Comics Festival 2025. Ouroboros is a sci-fi kind of fantasy mashup that is reflective of what was happening in Thailand at the time, which was some sort of political unrest. It was also Pink's thesis project, so they did it in a year's time, which is pretty cool. You'll be able to see Ping at the Philippine International Comics Festival 2025 at SM Megamall Megatrade Hall on July 5 and 6. You'll see me there too. Come say hi. Come check out everyone's books. It's going to be a fun time. Without further ado, Ping Sasinan. Welcome back to the Comics Cube, everyone. Today I am joined by Ping Sasinan, who is
Hi.
and Ping is from Bangkok.
Yes, I'm from
Bangkok,
Bangkok.
and will be joining us at the Philippine International Comics Festival Peak of 2025 on the 5th and 6th of July at SM Megamall Megatrade Hall. How are you?
Fine. I'm good.
How,
How are you?
I have one question. I'm good. Thank you for asking. I have one question for everyone who comes onto my show for the first time, which is a very simple question. And that question is, why do you love comics?
Um, I think for me, it's just a big part of my childhood. I really like since I was young, I really like pictures, like pictures book. And then when I started to learn how to read, I was really like into comics, and it's a large part of my life. I think when I was young, the phone and computer wasn't very like accessible as it is now. So
Mhm.
I spend a lot of my free time like reading like many comics. I love reading, but I don't like reading books. I like seeing pictures too. And I also love drawing, and it becomes like a part of my life. And I think I think of whenever I'm sad or I'm bored or I feel like there's nothing to do, I always come back to comics, and it just like make me feel good again, I guess. So maybe because of that good association, and that's why I become attached to comics. And as I grow older, I love drawing, and I also like to write and make stories. And I feel like comics is like the best media for me. And that's why like I start creating my own comics.
Because you love drawing and you love writing, making your own
Yeah,
stories.
basically. Yeah,
So,
I think if I only like drawing only or I like writing only, I might become like a pure artist, a visual artist, or like a writer. But because I love both, that's why I'm become a comic artist.
that's great. And why comic artist instead of, for example, an animator?
I just like animation less. That's
Oh,
all. I mean, I like watching animation. When I look at it, it makes me feel nice, but it doesn't make me feel passionate like when I read comics. It's
w-
different.
what's the comic that made you fall in love with comics?
Um, I think I'm not sure. I think it's just any comics I read when I was young. I think in Thailand we used to have like the what it's like a comedy comics, like a strip comics. So it's a really like thin um strip, like comic strips, and it produced every week. And my parents, they would buy me that every week because I would ask them for it, and my mom was like, yeah, sure, fine. So I think that's like um kind of make me into like a comic lover. But I think as I grow older, I start reading manga.
Mhm.
But I feel like I don't really have like anything that stick with me. But there also like one thing that kind of inspired me to make my own comics. There's a Thai comic artist. I think her name is Jang Senarak, and there's a comic. It's called Under an Incense Light, maybe. I'm not sure in English, but because of that comic, it just blew my mind. It's the first time that that I see comics in like in the medium of pencil, because like before that I
Oh
only
yeah.
see like inking and manga style, but never before that I see comics in like kind of more artsy and more indie
Mhm.
and using like very beautiful illustration. So that comic is the very first inspiration for me to like writing my own.
Can you talk about what other artists and writers have influenced you over the years?
Uh, okay. I I have to think about it. I think I also like I I think maybe for me it's a little bit weirder because when I do comics, a lot of my inspiration is from like cinema.
Mhm.
So when I do it and in my mind's eye, I want it to play out like it's in the movie. So so some of it I got in like inspiration from Wong Kar-wai, for
Yeah,
example.
Wong Kar-wai.
It- yeah, but also like in the comic form, I think just like I said, it's Jang Senara, which is a Thai artist and also a comic artist. I think recently I'm very into um, the manga Delicious in Dungeon. So that's also like my inspiration as well in terms of like how the author make their world building and also like making their own characters. I feel like when I do my own comics, it's from like different places. Um, my own illustration is also different from, you know, like the way that I make stories. So it's a mixture of everything.
Okay. Um, you created this book, Ouroboros,
Yes,
in 2021. Can you
yes.
tell our viewers and potentially the people who will be going to Picov
Hmm.
what this book is about?
So this book is my thesis project. So it's like my final project for my undergrad like degree. When I make this comic, I because um in my major, they allow us to make anything that we wanted as long as it in like the realm of design. And I decided that I want to do comics, which is like a medium that I really passionate about. When I started it, I wanted to do something sci-fi, that's all. And I like the visual of the, you know, like a planet outside, maybe Mars. And that's why I started these stories. But as the stories like grows, I realized that I want to do something that's also personal to me. So at the time in Thailand, we have like a political unrest.
Mhm.
Um, there's a protest and there's like kind of like an exchange of power at the time. A lot of young people start questioning people in power that we were taught that we should respect them or believe in them before. And I'm kind of the person in that movement. I I really like the progressive ideas that young people were talking about. But when I talk my about this idea to my parents, for example, or people who are older, they kind of rejected it, and I start to question about like, okay, like why, what that, like what happened to them, what make them believe in what they believe in. So so my story become like an exploration of that idea of like what meaning that people give to their life. So this is like a main theme that I started to build around of like what's the meaning of life, which I believe that we don't really have any inherent meaning, but what kind of meaning that people give to their own life. And I want to see what kind of meaning that people that I don't I disagree with believe in, and that's why I put into my the characters, and it's become a story of Nisha. So Nisha is an astronaut that's landed in the mysterious land, which it is the land afterlife, and along the way, um, it's start to reveal the past before she became an astronaut and her relationship with a friend who they are similar but believe in different things. And as the story progressed, it becomes more surreal, and it's blurred between the lines of like what is real and what is not. But in the end, it just surround in around this question of like what's the meaning of life and what your meanings like means to everyone else.
It's
Something like
interesting.
that.
It's interesting because I feel like with sci-fi, with fantasy, and this is I'm not the first person to say this, and I will not be the last one to say it. Regardless of what fantastical elements you put in, what sci-fi elements you put in, where it's taking place, when it's taking place, you cannot run away from the time period in which you are writing it. And
Yes.
it's always going to be in there. And I do remember the political unrest in Thailand because I was working for a multinational company. And it was so hard at that point in time to get meetings with people in Thailand.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah, it's I think like I, I feel like at the time I don't really feel like I'm involved in anything important, although like looking back it's kind of affect me a lot. Like it's kind of shaped me of like how would I feel about fighting for the progress or whatever. Um and also like looking back, I really like that this book that I make
yeah.
for myself, like first and foremost, also kind of record like the feeling at the time about the protest that I have.
And as you were creating this book, how long did it take for you to create this book?
Oh, it's about like a year because like because we have to spend a whole year making this book, making like finishing our project, right?
Yeah.
But I spent a lot of time researching since since I think my program they really um put a lot of importance on researching and um like showing like papers and doing a lot of um what's called, yeah, like maybe like a lot of drawing, a lot of researching for that. But in the end I only have like a month or two to draw the whole thing. So it's, yeah, it's very like it's a crunching time for me. But um but I spent like f- I guess like 5 to 6 months coming up with a story, researching and refining the story, finding a storyboard.
Um, and the title is Ouroboros, which is a mythical creature of a snake that's eating its own tail.
Yes.
Uh, can you walk us through why you entitled it that way? Or do you want to leave that up to interpretation, in which case you don't have to answer that question?
Oh no, I love to talk about my interpretation. Um, I like I said that the center theme is about like the like what's the meaning of life,
Mhm.
right? And I'm a kind of person who's very obsessed with the idea of life and death. Um, I believe that it's because of Thai Buddhism.
Oh, really?
I think I started to realize that it's very, very different from people who born in like Christian cultures
Hmm.
because as I grew up, I feel like I got reminded a lot about how one day I will die. How yeah, it's like the Buddhist is like the Buddhist idea is like nothing stay forever, everything change, and one day you will die or something like that. And that's why I kind of a weird kid who's obsessed with this idea. And so why I research, I got to like this Ouroboros symbol, and the symbol is the snake or a dragon eating its own tail, which also the symbolism of life and death, death and rebirth. And I think it's becomes so I feel like it's a very like cool like symbolism, and it's reflect the idea of the story very well because the story is about like life and death, and we as a human have to ever struggling to live while one day we know we will die, but what is important is what we decide to do and what we left behind, and kind of like asking the question is like what like in terms of what you believe in or the meaning that you're giving to your life, is it good enough, is it good to anyone else, or is it just for you, something like that.
Did you ever think while you were working on Ouroboros that one day you will be selling this book internationally?
No. I didn't think about it at all. I When I was finishing it, I got really depressed because it was COVID at the time, and I only got to share it on our website, so only few people get to read through it. But but I feel like it's a work that I really proud of. I got to read it after I finished it once or twice, and I thought, okay, I did pretty well. I should print this and sell this. But it took me maybe 2 years after I finished my comics to decide to, just like dust it off and kind of print it into my own little self-published book. So I never thought about it, but I have like some idea of like I want more people to read it, but I never thought about like, oh, one day people from another country would read my story.
And how did you end up hooking up with Paulo and getting
Oh,
to things like the Philippine the pickoff?
yeah, for that one I it's because Paulo and Peacock specifically, they asking for submission
Hmm.
of like short comics from Southeast Asian artists.
This is not short
And
though.
not this one.
Yeah, okay.
It's in another one. It's I think it's in the anthology from last year.
Oh yeah.
It's a yeah, I'm not sure if you have it,
Yeah,
but
I
it's
have
a
that.
blue book, and my story is the first one. So I do you remember?
I remember.
Yeah, the pink one. I saw it and I thought, okay, it's an interesting prompt, and I have some idea that I want to talk about. So I go like working on it.
You wrote a story. You wrote and drew a story about um living up to the living up to what's expected of you in our cultures,
I
right?
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was you?
so
Yeah.
yeah, like it's a story, like basically it's about like this woman who like
Uh-huh.
telling their dream, like her dream about her past life. It's also like kind of connected to like the Thai belief of like Buddhism of reincarnation, of like your past life and will affect you had your past life, and when you die, as long as you not become like reach nirvana or something, you will have to live your life in your next life, on and on and on until you like find a way to get away from this samsara, whatever. But I use this idea to talk about how to examine my culture's mythos. We have an idea of what Thai is like, what Thai women are, of how they should be, of how they used to be. And at the time, I felt like I don't really relate to that at all. I'm I was I was born in Bangkok. I raised in like a concrete jungle. I never get to see like nature. I didn't grow up with like rice field um and or some like or anything like that. And I feel disconnected of like because when we talk about Thailand in like in Thai culture at least, we were talking about like, oh, the humble farmers who working and sustain their life, but never about like this modern crazy surreal like concrete jungle Bangkok life that I grew up with. So it became this idea. And it's also like the idea of Thai woman, of like, because like because as a woman, even though like Thai culture is not as like patriarchic as like it's not very like have intense patriarchy like maybe other culture, but still there is an idea of like woman is connected to like being a mother, being a daughter, being a grandmother, and being a mother is like a big thing of like what a woman should be like. And at the time I was like questioning of like, should like, is this what I want? Like, is this all there is, you know? So it became another theme in my stories, mixing with like the mythos of like what Thailand should be, and also like what a woman in Thai culture should be, and how disconnected I feel from all of that. But also I cannot escape it because I'm also a part of this culture. I cannot just I cannot get away from it. Like despite how much I consume Western media, even though how much I reading or seeing or learning about other people's stories, I will never be them because I kind of stuck here because I born here and raised here. So that like all of that idea just become these comics that I make in
It's
the anthology.
it's fascinating. One of the things I love about that anthology is I think that it shows how diverse Southeast Asia really is. Like I
Mhm.
think probably, if you lived in America and you only live in America, you might think all of Southeast Asia is the same. But
Yeah, it's so different.
it's so different. And even within the same country, right? Like
Yes.
it is
Yeah.
so
Yeah. I think like for Thai person who's not from Bangkok would like be drastically different in terms of culture than me, I think. Like the way they eat, sometimes the way they talk, sometimes their accent would be different than me.
and they'd see you
Um
differently too, just because you're
yeah.
from Bangkok.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like maybe because I learned about this identity politics from, like social media and the Western culture and study, I becomes like very aware of what I am and the place that I be in this world, in this culture, in this society. And I start to like think about what story I want to tell, and I want to reflect a little bit of like, if I reflect hard enough, I'll know what I want it to be. Because like all this time I only get told what I should be or what other are, but not what I am. And I think making comics and drawing kind of like a way that I research or reflect what I wanted to be.
What is the personal effect? Since you're mentioning that, what is the personal effect that making comics has on you? Would you say it's cathartic, it's therapeutic? Would you recommend it to
Mm,
people as a way to work out their issues?
no, don't you know what I learned the hard way is that don't try to use art as, you know, the way that you kind of go through your trauma while make it as your job. Don't do that. I think art is a great way to kind of it's very therapeutic and you get to reflect a lot through art, but it's not great if you also do it as your job, which is what I do. Um,
Oh, because
but
it's additional stress.
I don't know, like I think sometimes like the effect that I get from making comics, like these comics, is like I I feel like I get to process my trauma and also problem in more an artistic way when I because like it's I think it's different from if I do it for myself, it's gonna be very like me. It's more it's less kind of diverse, I think. But when I do my own comic, I also like want it to be more palatable to other people, not only focus on my trauma or my, you know, anguish. So I think so I think when I do it, I get to think about my problem or my question more deeply, and I see it more, you know, like more raw than what I would do if I do it for myself alone or I write it for myself alone. But I wouldn't recommend you do comic if you don't want to sink like 50 to 100 hours on, you know, one stories. It's a lot of work,
Yeah.
but it's worth it. In the end, when you get to when you get to read your own story again, I feel great. But if you don't have time or it's a lot of if you don't read you're not ready for a lot of work, then don't do it. It's a lot.
What are you looking forward to when you come to Manila?
I last year I also went to Manila and I
So the
get to
traffic.
meet a lot of nice people.
I said
No,
so the
not the
traffic.
traffic. No.
Yeah.
But people people in Manila, they are really nice to me, and I love that. So I'm looking forward to meet friends and people who would maybe might enjoy my work, I think.
Filipinos are really nice, right? Like I don't think I'm just
Yeah,
saying that because I'm Filipino. I think we're really nice people.
I think you guys are very friendly.
Yeah.
You guys are so friendly and nice to me. I was you know, a little bit shocked in a good way.
Oh,
I
that's
don't know
good.
what the word for it. Yeah, I think sometimes like I'm a little bit shy, so I don't really go and engage when I meet another artist when I tabling, for example. But I think after I went to Manila and I saw that people are really nice to the artists. They actually like try to talk to the artists about their work and I thought like it's such a nice idea.
Yeah.
And so after that when I came back and I tried to like being more engaged with my community because of how Filipinos did actually.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. We had a
Yeah.
positive effect on you.
Yeah. I think Filipinos like community are more tight and I feel like it's like a nice example to me to realize that, oh, community could be like this too. I never seen something like this before.
I'm glad to hear. That's
Yeah.
oh, that's nice. That's nice. I look
Yeah.
forward to seeing you,
Of
and
course, me too.
I look forward to seeing what else you're gonna be putting up. What else will you be bringing?
Um, I I have new comics.
Mhm.
But I haven't put any, PR on my social media yet. But it's a comic I made for Shortbox Comic Fair last year,
Mhm.
and I decided to like dusting it off once again and self-publish. So I would bring that to Manila to pick off as well.
Okay. And what is next for Ping Sasinan?
I don't know. I I think I will keep if this career is going great, I think I'll just keep making more comics, like making more challenging and more grand and more complicated comic, the one that will satisfy my sick little mind. Um, I think I think for me, I would keep doing comic as long as I get an opportunity to do so. So please support me.
Congratulations. I look forward to seeing you. Ping will be
Yes,
at the Philippine International Comics Festival, which is Peak Off 2025 at Megamall, Megatrade Hall. So it is a bigger venue than last year. And that will be running from 10 a.m. to I think 7 p.m. both days. I will see you there.
yes,
Congratulations, Ping. Thank you for joining the Comics Cube.
yes. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.